Welcome back to the deep dive. Okay, so if you've ever typed, how to become a pilot into Google,
Okay.
you immediately hit this alphabet soup, right? PPL versus CPL. Private pilot license, commercial pilot license.
Happens all the time.
So today we're diving into the source material to really cut through that confusion. We want to give you the essentials. Which one's your ticket for hobby flying, and which one lets you actually make a career out of it, pay the bills.
Absolutely.
Our goal here is just to quickly clarify the really massive difference between these two licenses. Okay, let's get into it.
And it's fascinating because, it's not just a few extra flying hours. They really represent totally different ways of thinking about flying, about risk, operational control.
Right.
And understanding that difference is just crucial because the investment, both time and money, for a CPL is way, way higher than for a PPL. So yeah, we're explaining the why behind these two separate paths.
Okay, so let's start with the first step for most people. The private pilot license, the PPL, this is really your foundation. It lets you fly, but strictly for personal reasons, recreational flying. The really cool part, you can absolutely take passengers up, family, friends, share the experience.
Yeah, it's a big draw.
But hang on, the minimum hours often quoted is like 40 hours? Can someone really feel okay flying passengers after just 40 hours?
Well, that 40 hours is the FAA minimum. It's set for, let's say, ideal learning under visual flight rules, good weather flying,
Okay.
honestly. Most people take closer to 60, maybe 70 hours to feel truly comfortable and proficient. And the key thing, the absolute limitation with a PPL, is you cannot get paid to fly, period.
No compensation.
None. It's purely for your own enjoyment. And the medical checkup you need reflects that it's the Class 2 medical certificate. It's considered sufficient for, personal flying risk.
Got it. So PPL is the enthusiast's license. Now, let's shift gears. What if you want flying to be your job?
Okay.
That brings us to the commercial pilot license, the CPL. This is the professional one. The license you legally need to fly for money, for hire.
Exactly. And this is where everything ramps up significantly. We see why there's such a big difference. Training jumps from that 40-ish hour minimum way up to 150, sometimes 200 hours. Mandated.
Wow, that's a big leap. Why so many more hours?
Because the CPL demands a whole new level of skill. You need proficiency in really complex aircraft operations, much more advanced ground school, long cross-country flights, and critically, the ability to fly by instruments.
Instrument flight rules, IFR.
Precisely, IFR. Flying commercially often means you have to be able to navigate safely through clouds, bad visibility, things the basic PPL just doesn't prepare you for. You need that skill set.
That makes total sense. The whole game changes when you're flying on a schedule or have cargo or paying passengers relying on you, especially in less than perfect weather.
Right.
But I'd double back to the medical side. You said CPL needs the stricter Class 1 medical. Why the big jump from Class 2 for PPL, the Class 1 for CPL? What's the thinking there?
The medical standard is basically about managing risk at a higher level. The Class 1 medical involves way tougher checks, cardiovascular, neurological, vision, hearing, everything.
Much more rigorous.
Think about it this way. If you're a PPL holder flying yourself and maybe a couple of friends, well, if something sudden happens to you medically, it's a personal tragedy, terrible. But if you're flying commercially, maybe a charter flight, or starting as a first officer,
Yeah.
sudden incapacitation, that's a potential catastrophe. It affects many more lives, property, public safety, even the public's trust in aviation itself.
Okay, I see.
So the Class 1 is essentially the FAA saying, okay, we have a very high degree of confidence in your physical and mental fitness
Yeah.
to handle that huge responsibility.
That really clarifies the difference in, responsibility and the precision needed. So to kind of boil it down for everyone listening, the key differences seem to be these three things. First, purpose. PPL is personal, recreational. CPL is professional, commercial. Second, earning money. PPL, nope, can't get paid. CPL, yes, that's how you earn a living flying.
The crucial difference for a career.
And third, the medical side. PPL needs the Class 2, which is, let's say, more flexible. CPL demands that mandatory, very strict Class 1.
Yep, those are the core distinctions. So if your dream involves flying charter planes, becoming a flight instructor, hauling cargo, or, eventually sitting in the right seat of an airliner,
Then the CPL is non-negotiable. It's your path.
it's the mandatory path. Which
Yeah.
actually brings up an interesting final thought as we wrap this up. The sources we looked at also mentioned the next big step after the CPL for airline pilots The airline transport pilot license, the ATPL.
Right, the ATPL.
That's often seen as the ultimate goal, the highest civilian license, usually needing something like 1,500 flight hours.
1,500. Wow.
Yeah. So if the CPL is already a huge step up for professional flying, what does that final massive requirement for the ATPL tell you about the sheer scale, the experience, the responsibility demanded at the very top of the professional pilot journey? Something to think about as you map out where you might want to go in aviation.